And we are recording.
Good.
And thanks for joining us.
Finally.
That was it. It wasn't too bad, that setup, was it?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was horrible. You're not even looking at me.
Well, we're on the couch.
Yeah, we've changed rooms. We just change rooms all the time.
Yeah, I wanted to be in the sun.
Yeah, that's fair. And I keep thinking, it makes me think if we get this permanent podcast spot that we keep talking about, maybe you're going to be like, do you want to record it there?
I probably will.
We just we have to go somewhere else. So, should I do our intro?
Sure.
Maddie kicking us off in 3, 2, 1.
Hello?
I didn't kiss anyone. Tyler. He was a real bad boy.
Anyone want a titty squeeze?
Yeah.
See, now we can't forget to do the intro.
I know. And now I don't know why, but I just want to, it's like I want to get it out of the way or something, which is it's not cool of me.
You really want to just get it done.
Yeah. Today we have a guest on.
We do.
The amazing and wonderful Andrew Hastings.
Yay, Andrew.
We'll do a clap for when he actually gets here.
Yeah, well, he's not here yet.
He's not here yet, yeah. And this is our first ever attempt at a remote interview.
Yeah.
So we've got him.
Oh, no, we interviewed Hugh Jass.
We did. Oh, my gosh, yeah.
That was good.
It was good. I completely forgot that we did that. And that was tricky because he was overseas and it was delayed.
Yes.
I had to edit those delays in.
Well, yeah, you started talking before he could, before he could.
Yeah, I kept interrupting him. I kept interrupting him.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's been happening?
Well, we did find out that our lovely friend Di has been listening to the podcast.
Oh yeah, she's been listening.
She's been enjoying it.
And we're shouting her out now, but she's only up to
Hey Di.
Hey Di, but she's only up to EP 21, so who knows? Like she's got
Poor
a while.
effort, Di.
She's got a while before she catches up to that.
Well, she might get sick of it by then.
Yeah. What did we do this weekend?
You're testing my memory now. We went to the national park.
We did. We went for a walk, and then there's so many national parks up here.
There are
There's so many.
There's a lot
things.
of nature things to do around here, which I'm enjoying. But everybody keeps telling us about new ones, and we're like, oh,
people love a chat up here.
Add that to the list.
Yeah, people love a chat. And yesterday we
Marty made a friend.
Rosie, the dog. Yeah, and yesterday we ran into a gentleman, and he wanted to chat.
Yeah,
and he said this is one of his favourite parts of doing the beach walk, is chatting. And meeting new people.
Well, much to my dismay, because I don't like to talk to anyone.
Yeah, Maddie was sitting there going,
especially when
I want to talk to him.
It's morning and you're just having your first coffee and you're like, oh,
fuck off. That's what she does.
You, on the other
That's what she does. You're meters away from me and I'm standing next to him and just we hear in the distance. I'm like, yeah. So we moved out here about 6 weeks ago.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that was basically it.
Well, you just left me in charge of throwing both the dogs' balls.
Oh my God. What we have to talk about.
What?
Okay, so we're not going to do an In the Weeds with Maddie this week.
Okay.
Unless you want to.
News to me.
Okay, do you want to do it? I'll drop it right now.
We'll save it.
Well, I just don't want to.
I have a few things, but we'll save it.
Oh, you have a few things?
No, we'll save it.
Okay, all right, okay.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah. Well, I just figured because we've got our guests coming in.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had a few things.
No, next time.
All right. Well, what I was going to say, though, was and this is relating it back to nostalgia, was the Lagrange accompaniment of In the Weeds with Maddie.
Yeah.
Lagrange by ZZ Top.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it. So I pulled that from Shanghai Noon.
Yeah.
I was like, there's a great scene in Shanghai Noon. And then I kept saying, we should watch it. And you refused for so long. You're like, I'm not doing it.
No, I don't like Western.
And I kept saying it's not a Western.
It kind of is.
Anyway, I was able to get you on there. I mean, we were able to start watching it.
Get me on there.
But we haven't finished it.
No.
Because it hit 9 and you're like, it's bedtime, Daniel.
I'm the world's youngest grandma.
It's so sweet, though, darling. It's so sweet.
I can't make it past 9 p.m.
I know.
these days. It's really bad.
You can't.
It's so bad.
And then you go, you get up half asleep and you go, and you go, and then you go and you start getting your teeth done, and then you just yell from the other room, Daniel, bedtime. I'm like, all right.
I force him to go to bed with me.
Which I never mind because I'm like, well, if I never regret going to bed early. You know?
But you just stay up and play StarCraft in bed.
I do, or I watch Adult Swim cartoons or something like that. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, there's that one you've been watching with the walking bum.
oh, R.C. McGee, great show.
What is that?
It's just
I just look over sometimes and there's a bum.
It's
in
just
like
a bum. The
fishnet
main
stockings.
character is a bum. Yeah, is an ass.
And a
It's called
gun.
R.C. McGee. It's the most ridiculous show, but fucking made me laugh when I was high. So I wanted to ask, what did you think of Shanghai Noon so far?
Few things. I do love Jackie Chan.
He's the best.
He's very funny.
He's the best.
Yeah, Owen Wilson is funny. He's just, when was it? 2000?
It was 2000, which is insane to me that movie was 25 years ago.
Yeah, he does give me a little bit of the creep vibes sometimes.
Owen Wilson?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Which I don't enjoy.
Really?
Yeah.
Like you think he's a bit creepy?
Yeah.
I've never heard that about Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Really? What is it about him that he makes you think
I
he's...
don't like the way he tries to come on to women in his movies.
What does he do?
It's just a bit slimy.
Really?
Yeah. It makes
I'm thinking of like even Wedding Crashers, and he's kind of like the nice guy.
Yeah, no, not really. He's a bit slimy in that too.
I'm in love with Rachel McAdams. That's not a good Owen Wilson.
Not bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, the movie itself, I mean, yes, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right.
Okay. I was really thinking, I was hoping, I was like, and it was a big swing because I haven't seen it in a very long time, but it's a nostalgic movie for me. And I was like, this movie's going to fucking rock your world.
Yeah, but even you said, what did you say, that it felt a bit stagnant or something?
It felt a bit still, and it was
still
like...
was the word.
Yeah, and look, this is a shitty thing to say, but I was just kind of noticing. I think if you watch something today that's set in the Wild West, they go above and beyond to make it look like the Wild West. They might even green screen some shit. Like just I don't know, just everything. It's crazy how immersive I think a lot of films and series are now. And looking at that, there is obviously beautiful scenery and stuff as well, but then there's some scenes where you go like, this just looks like they've gone to something that kind of looks like a lake and put costumes on and shot it, which is exactly what they did.
Pretty
But there was
much,
just something that just kind of stood out for me where I was a bit like, oh, I can really see the film crew, if that makes sense, you know?
It doesn't seem as realistic now.
Yeah, I don't know. Which, look, it's a shitty thing to say, I think. It's a shitty comparison to make. It's just, you can kind of... Hey! Hastings, how are ya?
That's good. I can only see one of you.
Oh, sorry. Here she is.
Hi,
How's it going?
Andrew.
How you doing, man?
Good, man. It was just out for dumplings. Sorry I had to push back, but I was having a delicious lunch. I'm not gonna lie to you, Danny. I was having a great lunch. That's where I was.
Look, I prefer you don't lie to me. We're already recording, by the way, if that's okay.
I don't give a shit. That's
Okay,
fine.
cool. Well,
I don't give a shit.
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show. It's Andrew Hastings.
Hello.
Hey, Andrew.
We did a clap sound effect.
Podcast.
It's good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in so long. I don't know if you've met my partner, Maddie.
How's it going,
Andrew.
Maddie? I don't think we have met. But
So nice
what's
to
up?
meet you.
Yeah. You caught us in the middle of a conversation, and I'm curious to get your 2 cents about this. Any thoughts or feelings on the movie Shanghai Noon?
I haven't seen Shanghai Noon.
Get out of town!
We watched it on a bus trip up to the snowfields for Year 7 camp.
So you have seen it.
And I distinctly remember not watching the movie to
Right.
hang out with my friends on the bus.
Was
Being
it-
like, whatever. This
was
movie
it-
seems weird.
Was it in protest? Were you like, nah, fuck that?
I think I was just so keen to get on the snow with the boys.
Yeah.
Because
Fair.
that makes it sound like I went to a very fancy school. By the way, I did not.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm so glad you said that because this has come up before. Do you remember we had this conversation?
It is fancy for going on snow trips.
It's not.
It is.
So I said this. I'm going to guess you went to camp in the snow year 6.
Year 7.
Year 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's even more fancy.
Because I went in year 6 and I was like, maybe it was just Northern Beaches people, but we all went to the snow as a school camp.
Yeah. So I think it was a Northern Beaches thing. It was not a fancy school. Like I genuinely did. And it was like a shitty Catholic school where like the fees are like $3,000 a year, not 20, 30 grand a year. Like it's much closer to public school, but it's not a public school.
Yeah.
And it was like the one good camp you'd go on was year 7. And it would be like the first camp you go on in high school. And it was like, they had to send like special letters like home to the parents.
Yeah.
Being like, yeah, look, we know this one's expensive. The other years won't be, but the year 7 camp or whatever's a big deal.
That's so funny.
Yeah. What was cool for me as well is my dad was a teacher at my school. So he was the year 7 advisor when I was like later in school, like when I was in year 11 and 12. So when I was in year 11, I got to go to the year 7 ski camp again.
As
like a special like
Chaperone.
teacher's helper or whatever with a few other kids.
Oh my god!
And so I got to like go skiing again. And like at the only 2 times I've ever been skiing in my life.
Wow!
Well, St. Paul's Catholic College Manly School camps.
Well, we didn't. I didn't go on. We didn't get to do skiing, you know. Ours was literally, we got there and it was just like, well, there's the snow, playing it for half an hour, then get on the bus, let's get the fuck out of here.
Really?
Like, it was like Mount Kosciuszko or Thread, but no,
Really?
nothing.
Just going to like the
imagine like the
souvenir
insurance and everything, like right, like it's.
I guess,
Yeah.
Just visiting the souvenir store in Jindabyne, just hanging out in there for the whole fucking week.
Well, Andrew, thank you so much for coming on, man. I'm so excited to have you on because
I'm so glad you dressed up for it, Danny. I'm so glad you guys. I'm really glad you guys were like, Hastings is coming on. Let's get the studio set up. Let's get a professional look. We got to impress Hastings. Like Hastings is coming, so we got to black tie this shit up.
You should feel complimented that we feel comfortable enough to,
I do. I genuinely do.
To wear our jacket.
If we're sharing that, can I complain about my outfit for a second before we introduce?
Yeah.
So I'm trying a new look. Right.
Yeah.
Where I'm wearing like a white singlet under like an overshirt, which is not, I think that's a pretty standard look. I'm not claiming to be some sort of avant-garde fashion cutting edge guy or whatever, but it's just not something I normally wear. And when you picture yourself in an outfit, you want it to go a certain way. So I'm picturing, I'm thinking, Brad Pitt, James Dean, sexy singlet guy, Leonardo DiCaprio in Romeo and Juliet, singlet overshirt guy.
Yeah.
And left the house feeling good, feeling like that. I just went out, ate fucking 12 dumplings and ate a big iced coffee. I'm probably going to shit myself at some point in this record from this fucking iced coffee. And then I'm doing that and it's like very quickly just like, oh, Tony Soprano. White beta. Just the second I get a little bloated, I'm just like, oh, I look like...
the confidence has dropped. Yeah, absolutely. I was really excited to talk to you because this is, at the podcast, I don't know if you've heard it, but a lot of it's just to do with childhood, with how, who you were as a kid, who you were when you grew up, and also reflecting on nostalgia and all that stuff. I've known you for so long. I was just telling Maddie, I met you very shortly after I started doing stand-up because we both lived in the Northern Beaches. All right, cool. We have fandangled the audio setup. You are our first remote record, by the way. I realized that we did do that other one, but he was on the phone.
He was on the phone.
Yeah. So if this fails, we can just call you.
Correct.
Me and you, we both lived in the Northern Beaches.
Absolutely.
We used to catch the bus home together.
Yeah, we both started a long time ago, and there were not a lot of people doing it. And you were one of the first dudes I knew when I started doing comedy, literally 15 years ago or something.
Crazy. It's crazy that it's been that long.
Yeah, 14 or 15 years.
Yeah, but I think it's funny because I know you and a lot of people for so long, and then we've known each other for so long, and yet I feel like I know nothing about you. And
I'm a pretty open
open book as well.
I know. I think it's just because, we always fall into talking about comedy and blah, 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 blah. But
yeah, sure. Of course, yeah.
Well, it's a good chance for you guys to get to know each other.
I know. So I'm curious. So let's sort of start at the very, very start. And if you don't mind, let's start with siblings. From birth, siblings. Do you have brothers, sisters? What do you have?
Well, so I'll answer that question first, but we might have to go into some backstory as an explanation.
Sure.
So I technically have 6 siblings. I'm technically the eldest of 7. Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm the only full one. Like, I'm the only child of my mum and dad.
Okay.
So my mum has 3 kids.
Yeah.
1 with my dad, 2 with my stepdad.
Okay.
My dad has 5 kids to 3 women.
Okay.
There's some important,
Mr. Hastings.
Once
He
people
got around.
find that out, there's like, it's all starting to make a bit more sense. Yeah.
What the house that you grew up with? Did you grow up with siblings?
Yeah. I grew up with my mum.
Yeah.
And then, so I lived with my mum and I'll start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this is all rumor and conjecture. This is all what I've heard second and third hand, so details might be wrong. But in the sort of like mid to late 80s on the northern beaches.
Oh my God,
within like Catholic circles, there was a youth group started specifically for like young Catholics on sort of the southern half of the northern beaches. And so St. Kieran's Manly Vale, St. John's Narrowena, I think it's St. Kevin's in DY, like that sort of area around there. Beacon Hill, Narrowena, down to Manly. My grandparents were involved in starting this youth group, my dad's parents. They had 7 children, like my dad's one of 7. So there was a lot of kids and they wanted to do like this youth group program. They ran it. My dad's family and my mum's family are both very Catholic. So everyone was very involved. Involved in this youth group was my mum, my dad, my stepdad, my sister's mum, the guy who's now dating my auntie, a different auntie, and like all of my uncles on my dad's side as well, right? So they were all involved in this youth group. That youth group ended in the early 90s. I don't know exactly why, but one of the contributing factors were there were too many pregnancies.
You know what this now feels like, Hastings? This feels like a talking head on a Netflix doco.
It does.
It was. So growing up, I always heard about this youth group. It was like, isn't it crazy that we're all in this one youth group? And I was picturing the kind of youth groups, like Catholic youth groups I went to when I was a kid, which was like Sunday afternoon after church. You sit around for an hour and there's 10 of you with a priest and they talk about why you shouldn't look at FHM magazines. And then you outgrow it and whatever. It's just like normal. Like it's just like a normal boring thing to study.
Sure.
This wasn't that. I thought it was that. I found out like this in the last like 12 months. It was like this big fucking like it was like 100 and 150 like 16 to 20-year-olds sort of thing.
Almost like
and
a
they
commune.
were all just fucking because also all youth group programs similar to like Birthright, how they do like Birthright in Israel. Any kind of like youth church outreach program, it's really a dating program. Like it's really trying to get everyone married up to make more little whatever religion you are, right? So they wanted to introduce all these young people, but it went too fast, and a bunch of people got pregnant. So
like getting rabbits together.
Yeah. So my dad had me when he was he was 17 when my mum got pregnant. She was 18.
Wow.
She was the youth leader of his group in the youth group. She's only a year older.
Yeah.
My stepdad was also in it. That was like a whole thing. So my stepdad took my sister's mum to the year 10 formal.
Wow.
My auntie dated my uncle at one point.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny, Hastings, is it's like one of the questions that I had that I was like, it'll be interesting to find out how Hastings became an emo, but I think you've just answered it.
So there's all this stuff going on. So I
think you've just explained it.
Yeah. So there's my mum's one of 6, my dad's one of 7.
Wow.
There's just so many people. Like there's so many people. And it was all just sort of like a mess of that. So my dad had 2 kids by the time he was 21. Like I've seen the footage of his 21st birthday party. He's got 2 babies at it from 2 different women. I'm the older one. Like, yeah, so he just did it again. He got my mum pregnant when he was like 17, and then he just did it again with another woman when he was like 19.
Wow.
Wow.
Wait, there's a million crazy stories about that. And
Yeah.
But that's sort of what's going on. So I grew up, so my mum was like, I lived with my mum.
Yep.
I never lived with my dad. I lived with my mum. Also, that's the other thing. She was dating my stepdad in high school. They broke up for a bit towards the end, and that's when my mum went and shacked up with my dad. My dad and my mum dated for like 6 months. Like they hooked up for a bit.
Wow.
I was conceived, and then my mum just got back with the guy who is now my stepdad and father of my like half siblings.
Yeah.
So when I was born, I lived with my mum and in my grandparents' house. Like my mum still lived at home. Obviously, she was like 18. So we lived there till I was like 5.
Yeah.
And that was when like she got a place with her boyfriend, who later became my stepdad. So the three of us lived together. They got married. A couple of years after they got married, when I was like 9, my brother was born. And then a few years after that, when I was like 13, my sister was born. All through that, my dad was having kids, but don't worry about that. I don't know. Like my dad's kids are great, but like I don't know them as well.
Yeah, sure.
Like if we were hanging out and I was like, oh yeah, my sister said the funniest thing the other day, or my brother said the funniest thing the other day, I'm talking about the one girl my mum had, or my brother that my mum had. Like I really only have two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
But I'm quite a bit older, so I'm 9 years and 13 years older, or 12 years maybe older than them.
Wow. So childhood, you were kind of an only child.
I was until I was 9.
Wow.
Yeah. And then very much not. Like because like very young.
Sure.
So like lived in little units, a lot of like close proximity, in like just different like little units around the northern beaches. And then just as I got older, they probably hit their 30s when I was a teenager. So like that's
So
when they're
wild.
like, all right, we can move into a house now.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like it got more the older I got, the more normal it got. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
But it was good. Like I'm really close with my mum. I'm really close to my stepdad. I'm close with my siblings. Like it was cool.
Yeah.
But this does inform a few of the things that come
Totally.
later on. Both absolutely the emo stuff, but also the wrestling stuff. We can talk about that.
Oh, for sure. Well,
Wrestling.
let me talk about let's talk about school then. You go to school. You're an only child.
Yeah.
How are you sort of fitting in with everyone else?
Sure. So I was in primary school. I was a weird little fucking kid. I was a weird kid in primary school.
What made you weird? What
He's
did
a
you?
weird
Were you
little
just
dude.
into weird stuff? What was
I was
it?
like into weird stuff. I was also just like, I guess I was. What do you call those kids who are like I was a little bit precocious. I think I was pretty like.
What does that mean?
Yeah, like I thought I was a grown up a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
a little bit.
because you were the only child and just hanging out with
Yeah.
adults.
I think a little bit.
Yeah.
That's probably a factor. And also I think my parents were, because my parents were so young, I think they were very concerned with like me appearing as like a wayward youth. Do you know what I mean? So they were like they were actually quite strict with me and stuff. Like I like had a pretty like proper,
Yeah.
I wasn't roaming the streets or whatever. So I think part of that was like I was a bit of a serious kid. I was captain of the chess team.
Captain.
I was captain. I was
impressive.
captain of the chess team for a lot of high school too.
Yeah.
Really important to note, I'm not very good at chess.
Okay.
I'm not particularly good at chess at all.
Yeah.
It was I just went to like dumb fuck schools. My high school was all like there's just like such a focus on like rugby, which I also played and stuff, but like it was not a intellectual. It wasn't a particularly focused on academic school. So easy to be chess captain there.
What are we? When you're at home, you're a kid. We are, I think, the same age, right?
Yeah, I'm 1990. I was born.
Okay, so I think you might be like a couple of months younger than me, maybe a year. You're growing up, only child. What are we watching on TV? What's your journey into that?
I mean, to this day, there's going to be nothing groundbreaking here.
Yeah.
This is for an early child. I want to talk about wrestling later, but wrestling did come a bit later. So, like, we're talking preteen, like The Simpsons. That's the thing. Like, of course, like every other dude our age and girl, but like every other person our age, it's just
They missed it. They weren't a Simpsons family.
No, we
Yeah,
weren't.
my wife wasn't a Simpsons family either, and it causes tension.
Yeah. I
it's
don't get a
like-
lot of the jokes that he makes.
An interesting thing I think about The Simpsons is like the way it impacted like language and like the way we talk and communicate. And people like talk about how like Shakespeare invented all these new words and phrases and ideas. The interesting thing about Shakespeare was just how prolific he was. Like he wrote a shockingly high number of plays.
Sure.
And there's 30 fucking something episodes of this, like seasons of The Simpsons. Like
You see his
and I
cat in
think,
the
like-
background?
Oh, yeah.
Maddie loves cats.
Let's get Undertaker here. Hold on, come on, buddy.
What's his name? Undertaker.
Undertaker?
Undertaker, buddy, you're on podcast.
Hey,
First time on a
buddy.
podcast, buddy.
Oh, is he all black? So cute.
He's an all black cat. I've also got a red cat, like an orange cat
A
called
red
Kane.
one.
Yeah.
Oh, so cute.
So
Yeah.
nothing groundbreaking. You're watching all basically the normal
Pokemon
stuff.
was huge for me. Dragon Ball Z was huge
Yeah,
for me.
same.
Seinfeld was huge for me.
But you said you grew up in they were quite strict on you. Did that cross over into what you were watching?
Yes, but more just like they just took the ratings classification board very seriously.
Yeah.
Like they actually cared about that shit.
Yeah.
And my dad also would. I'd go spend every second weekend, like a day at my dad's place. And he loved, like, he used to get in trouble for...
He was having more
something,
kids
like,
every time.
yeah, he was just there. Just,
Every
There's a new kid
second
every
weekend
time.
there was a new baby.
kind of feels like that. I keep being like, dog, you got to get a vasectomy. Like, because he's only 52 or something.
Yeah.
He's a young guy. And I keep being like, dog, you got to get a vasectomy. You've
Call
got
him
enough-
dog.
Dog.
Yeah, brother.
You've got enough.
Brother, you got to get a vasectomy. You've got
What?
enough kids.
Okay,
And he's
so-
just like, what if the next woman wants one? I don't know. Like,
So so then what does an only child growing up in the northern beaches, watching nothing sort of groundbreaking on TV,
Yeah.
what does that look like for you as your introduction into romance or having a crush of being the son of a guy who loves to fuck?
yeah.
What?
If we want to talk about the relationship, my father's relationship to women has impacted my relationship with women, we're going to need more than an hour. Right? We're going
I need
to
a therapy
Well,
session.
Well, put it this way. Let me make it more
we're
specific.
going to need 6 Medicare cover sessions.
Mental
we
health
don't
care
have the
plan.
infrastructure. We don't have the infrastructure. Let me put it this way. Let's make it more specific.
Yeah,
Your first crush,
sure.
primary school?
Primary school, absolutely.
Okay.
I've always been a fan of the ladies, Danny. I've always had a lover's heart.
What was her
can I
name?
say?
What was her name?
Her name was Kirsten.
Kirsten.
Her name was Kirsten. I was 5 years old.
No.
I was 5 years old.
Kindy.
And I loved her.
You like?
He loved her.
She didn't even know I
No.
bloody existed.
Oh,
She didn't
no.
love you.
Was that? Oh, please,
and then
yeah,
I did
tell me
have
more.
that thing. This was like a recurring pattern in primary. I had a lot of crushes in primary school,
Yeah.
and high school, and adulthood.
Yeah.
Again, I love hard, Danny.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I get it.
But I was running. It's in my memory, it happened 20 times. It probably happened twice.
Okay.
But in my memory, it happened so many times of me having a crush on someone, me confessing to a friend or whatever that I had a crush on someone, and then the hey, Andrew has a crush on
Oh,
you. And then
that
being
old
like,
chestnut.
And then them feeling like embarrassed, and
Yeah.
then being like, he's disgusting.
Yeah.
Because
Because you don't what I
The
mean.
overcorrection.
It reminds me of your situation where you were dating. Was it Tyler? She her primary school boyfriend,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
when her friends found out, she got
Yeah.
embarrassed and was like, "No, I
You
don't want
know we're
anything."
not dating.
Yeah, I don't, yeah. It's hard. You get put on the spot, right? So
What's
this.
Tyler doing now? He's probably
Oh, Andrew,
I
he
wish
has
we
been an
knew.
overarching theme of the podcast. We want nothing more
We
but
wanna
to track him down. I'm pretty sure when we track him down, Maddie leaves me. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like, he is the one that got away. He was a bad boy. He got in trouble all the time. Like, I'm in love with him. He's a dreamboat.
Yeah.
But tell me about Kristen. So what?
Kirsten.
Sorry. Fuck. I'm sorry.
Oh,
She was. So what I like
disrespect.
about her, this is like 5 years old. I was a smart kid.
Sure.
And
Captain of the
Captain of the
chess
chess club.
team.
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. I was good at reading and maths and things like that.
Uh-huh.
And she was very smart. So I think I felt like
You're attracted to her intellect.
Yeah,
She understands
is
it,
there
yeah.
is there a
5-year-olds.
connection? Is there a connection? Was there any sort of link to liking Kirsten and being like, I should be the captain? Like, did Kirsten come along pre or post captain of the chess
It was
club.
pre-captain of the chess team.
Okay.
But it was on when I was well and truly on the path. Like it is.
Right.
I was on that journey. It was like, I think it was because we'd be in the same reading groups and the same doing the I think like a thing. I imagine you might have had the same thing where I was good at public speaking.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and that just comes naturally to some people, and some of those people become comedians and whatever. Public speaking was always like a strength of mine.
Yeah.
And so I quite liked that she was good at public speaking too.
Oh, did she become is it Kirsty Mack? Did she become a comic?
Yes. That's such a deep cut. Who the fuck knows who Kirsty Mack is?
No one.
I don't.
Yeah, go on.
Insane comedians from 12 years ago. Yeah, it was I think that it was I just made that maybe it's like, damn, we're on the same level. It was probably pretty arrogant of me. Damn, someone who can match my gigantic brain. But yeah, that was pretty short lived because once the rejection hits, one thing I will say, and this is I think what one of the many reasons I never became an incel is the second she would do the public rejection, they're like, oh, Andrew likes me, that's gross or whatever. I lost all feelings immediately. I was oh no, I didn't have on that even though that there was none of that that bitch, but I love her. There was none of that. It was just yeah, right, fuck it. She's not interested, but I'm too cool for this shit anyway.
Yeah.
Even as a 5-year-old.
I just had a new crush.
Especially as a 5-year-old.
I think I probably had a crush at every girl in my primary school class. At some
sensitive
point.
boy.
I cycled through pretty quick.
Yeah, totally.
It does.
You had that in your genes. You were like, I need to start breeding now. I need to catch up to dad.
Yeah, I got to start early.
Yeah. So did Kirsten? There was a rejection there, you think? Yeah.
But then he moved on very quickly.
I don't think a girl liked me back till I was 13.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I never had any primary school romance.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember in year 6 there was a spin the bottle and a girl didn't want to kiss me and spin the bottle.
That's rough.
That would hurt my feelings. I was also, I should point out, I was a pretty weird looking kid.
Okay.
You can get away with being a weird looking adult. There's a little something to it. But when you're a weird looking kid,
do you have a photo?
I'm a weird looking dude, and that's fine. As an adult, I can kind of do something with it.
Yeah.
As a kid, it's no chance.
There's not much you can do about it.
I didn't know how to cut my hair. I didn't know how to, you know what I mean?
That's not your responsibility as a child.
I was the same. I've told this on the podcast before, but the very first interaction I had with a girl in high school.
Yeah.
Was she came up to me and said, "You look like an alien," and walked away.
I mean, she got you. I mean, she fucked you up.
That's what Maddie said. As soon as I told that story, Maddie was like, "Is it your big head? Is that why?"
And the spindly arms. Yeah. I got a lot of Napoleon Dynamite in high school.
Oh, yes. I see it. Yeah. No, that's cool, though.
I had a big afro as well. I had a big
you didn't.
So
Yeah.
I didn't have glasses back then, but yeah, still very Napoleon.
Who was your romance when you were 13?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. So there was this girl, her name was Liz.
Liz.
Yeah, this is a beautiful story.
Sexy Liz.
So,
Sexy Liz, yeah. Luscious Liz. Was it
married now?
Why is every story from you end in sadness? This is why you became an emo.
So there's this girl. I'm like 13. Yeah, sorry, I was definitely 13. I was 12 turning 13. I know it was... We had the 22nd, I'll reveal on this, it was the 22nd anniversary of my first kiss 2 days ago.
That's adorable that he knows it.
Wow.
So the reason I know that
did you message her? Please tell me you messaged her.
I did not message her.
Happy anniversary, Liz.
No, so it was the day my sister was born. So,
Oh.
yeah, it was
And
Friday
you were
the 13th.
celebrating.
No. He ran in. He ran into his dad and said, guess what? I'm on my way.
Shows so shockingly close to what happened. There's not even an exaggeration.
Yeah, okay.
So, it's year 7. It's a Friday the 13th, typically a day for bad luck.
Yeah.
And we've got a school disco on that night.
Oh.
And I love a school disco.
Yeah, man. Yeah. What tunes were they rocking? Mambo number 5?
There was a bit of number 5. There was a bit of Lose Yourself by Eminem.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Oh, do you know what as well? There was the year Get Rich or Die Trying came out.
Really?
So, yeah, 03. So
what
In the
that
Club,
is.
50 Cent.
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, you mean the album, not that movie.
Not the movie, the album
right.
that the movie's named after.
Okay.
It is funny that 50 Cent has 2 different albums, both called Get Rich or Die Trying.
Yeah.
But no, it was like his big breakthrough album.
Yeah, so that was Indie Club and Candy Shop and all that stuff.
PIMP,
Oh
stuff like
yeah.
So,
Classic.
Classics, yeah.
I've got this disco scheduled in that evening.
Yeah.
Penciled in the diary.
In the afternoon, I get the phone call. I'm at school.
Yeah.
And I get the teacher comes into class and is like, "Hey, Andrew, your mum's like going into hospital to give birth.
Your dad's having another kid. We need you to kiss someone immediately. You need to catch up. You're falling behind." No, go on. Sorry.
So, yeah, my mum's having a kid. Your mum's gonna go give birth. And like I already knew that this was coming up. Like,
yeah.
And like, yeah, cool. So just go to your grandparents after school. Like, go home, get some clothes, then go to your grandparents. And I was like, yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing that, and then like in the day, like when I call up, I get the call from my stepdad. And he's like, yeah, your mum's giving birth. She's still giving birth. It'll probably be here in a few hours.
Will probably be here.
Yeah. Do you want to come to the hospital and visit once the kid's born?
Yeah.
And I was like, I got a school dance.
Yeah, I can't.
I'm
too busy.
I got to fuck. I'm sorry.
I'm busy.
Like, that's cool. If you want to go to school dance, come visit tomorrow. Like,
yeah.
And I think they were also like, he doesn't actually need to come fucking visit right away. Maybe some space would be good.
Fair
sure.
enough.
And go stay at your grandma. I was like, all right. So we arranged for one of my uncles to take me to the school dance, like to drop me off at the school dance and stuff.
Yeah.
My uncle's only 7 years older than me. Like, there's less of an age gap between me and my uncle than me and my brother.
Wow.
So my uncle's 20 in this story.
Oh my god.
We're still tight.
Cool.
Good dude. So my uncle's like, takes me back. So I go to the dance. I'm on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did he get you a beer?
Macarena or whatever.
Yeah. Did he get you a beer? Good question.
No beer. No beers at this stage. Beers came later.
Yeah.
But,
so you're doing the Macarena. Yeah.
I'm on the dance floor. Let's go.
Wait, let's pause here for a second. Do you know Liz at this point?
No.
Oh, this is oh my god! Wow. Okay.
I'm on the floor.
Yeah.
I'm
tearing it up
like a fucking shark.
That might be a drop. That might be a new drop on the board. Yeah, go on.
So I get the. Oh, hey, I got a teenage girl approaches me and she goes, "My friend likes you. Do you want to go dance with her?"
Why does she talking like this?
Because everyone, it's such a fair question.
Why is her voice broken?
Why is she the pimply kid from The Simpsons?
That's what women sound like to me.
The whole time you've just been listening to Maddie say, "Oh, hey, Andrew."
I'm a very specific kind of misogynist. So I'm dancing with Liz.
Yep.
And then it was actually I get the while I'm dancing with her, I get the tap on my shoulder from one of her friends, and then she's like, "Do you want to pash her?"
Oh,
and
this is so fucking 90s. It's
her
so funny.
Her friend invited you to bash
Yeah, her friend was controlling them
yeah.
both like they were Sims.
You
know,
bash her?
her friend was
like,
Clippy from Microsoft Word going up, "Hey, I can see you're dancing. Would you like help wanting to pash her?" Like, it's just,
Clippy.
yeah.
So, and I'm like, "Yeah, I would like to," and they're like, "Yeah, cool, you should. She wants to pash you." And I was like,
Wow.
"All right."
And was this in
then I
front
wait for,
of
like,
Liz?
a obligatory 5 seconds.
You wait for the obligatory 5. Hastings got it. Hastings got it elusively from her friend, and he's like, "Yeah, that's consent."
Well, do you know? It's funny you say that. A thing I very specifically remember from that moment, is being worried that this was a cruel.
Sure,
prank.
yeah.
And neither of us knew how to kiss properly and stuff.
Wow, yeah.
But I remember the way she was like. I remember like her pushing her tongue into my mouth.
Oh, Jesus.
And me being like, good, that means she wants to kiss me. Like, I remember being like,
Yep.
she is actively participating, even at 12.
I think that would hold up in court for sure.
That's like what a woke king I am. I'm like, she's actively participating. You could...
Those no one can see, but Maddie's hand is in her face.
Oh God.
Go on.
Yeah. So we're and it was like, I remember being like, and also I do remember there being like, she seemed relieved when I kissed her, and I was like, that's good. These are all good.
She seemed relieved.
She breathed
like, I think she was like nervous.
She's like, oh,
like,
finally.
She was like nervous about what's going to happen. Like,
yeah.
She was like, oh, good, he got the message.
Okay.
Like,
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're macking on, and
Macking on.
Yeah, we dance for another 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, can I have your phone number?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then she pulls out a big
Absolutely
texter,
not a big texter.
and then like
From
down
where?
Where
did
she had it in her handbag? I think to give boys a number.
She came prepared. I'm impressed.
Pulled out like a big texter, and she wrote like in big
Yeah,
letters.
Hastings was like the 5th dude she did this to that night.
One of those jumbo Sharpies. Remember those?
Yeah, which one?
The jumbo Sharpies.
Yeah, the jumbo Sharpies.
One of those.
Yeah. She's tagging
Hastings, she's like, oh, hang on, this one's out of ink. Sorry, I've been using it all night. Hang on, let me get the...
All the boys have her number on their arm.
Yeah, you do a lap and they've all got the same
Everybody.
number down their arm.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So,
Wait, she wrote it on your arm. That's so romantic.
Yeah, she wrote my,
It
it was
is.
like an 02 landline
Oh, Maddie's
number.
getting
Oh, it's
into
a
it.
landline. Of course. Her parents, yeah.
Yeah, she put the. Yeah, I don't think she actually put the 02. But it was like a landline number. And like, no, yeah, it was 2003. Like, we didn't have mobile phones.
Oh my
So
Like, they
god.
existed, but we heard, like, 12-year-olds
Yeah.
didn't have phones yet.
Yes,
Wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
of
That's right.
course.
That's right.
I didn't get a phone for a couple of years. And so I fumbled it on the. Actually, I'm cutting ahead. So anyway, the school dance.
Yeah, let's get to the
my
birth of your
auntie and
sister.
my uncle, like the brother and sister. So he's 20 and she's 22 or 23 or something.
Yeah.
They've come to pick me up from the dance.
Yeah.
And they're like, how'd you go? And I'm like, I got a girl's number. We made out. It was awesome.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're like, that's awesome, dude. You've got a sister.
Yeah. Your sister's been. Yeah. Your sister's born.
And I'm like,
I don't
whatever, I'll see
care.
you tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. Did you go to the hospital?
The next day I did, yeah.
Wow.
But then here's what happened at the hospital. So my dad's a high school teacher. He was a teacher at my high school. But my stepdad was also a primary school teacher. Both my dads are teachers.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And so he didn't.
Your
teach
childhood is just an absolute mishmash of just.
It's just 40.
It's like it's a 90s sitcom.
It
Do you know what I
is,
mean?
yeah.
It's like
I functionally raised by a disbanded cultish Catholic sex cult. Like,
Yeah,
it was-
yeah.
I was collectively raised by like
Accurate.
12 people who were all in
Yes.
the same weird fucking Catholic sex club. It was
Yeah.
weird.
yeah, man.
And it shaped some
Accurate.
stuff within me.
Yeah, fucking hell, of course. It all adds up, man. Everything I know about you, it makes so much sense. Yeah, so keep going.
People don't underestimate the impact Catholicism had on my life. When
Yeah.
you know what you're looking for, it's all there.
Yeah, so
So my stepdad's a primary school teacher. The next day I'm in the hospital. I'm meeting my beautiful baby sister, who's now 22 years old. We're very close, lovely lady.
does she know this story?
She knows the story.
Yeah,
She makes
yeah,
fun
of course.
me for it.
Yeah. Does she know this story? I tell this story every Christmas.
Yeah, she knows the story.
Yeah.
So I'm in the hospital, and I'm like, I wasn't planning on telling my parents about the Mac and on.
Sure.
But one of my aunties or uncle, I can't remember which one, but she goes, they thought it was hilarious. So they do still bring this up at Christmas. But how excited I was in showing the number on my arm, they think that was very like funny and embarrassing.
Yeah.
So they bring that up all the time. They brought that up the day after when my sister was born. And my stepdad goes, hold on, Liz. And I was like, yeah.
No.
And he says, and I'm in year 7, so primary school's just finished.
Uh-oh.
And he goes, and he says the last name, and I go, yeah. And he goes, yeah, I taught her, like, recently.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, cool. And he was like, she sucks.
Oh.
She was like,
What do you
real
mean?
naughty
Wait,
kid.
what do you mean
Don't
she
like her brother.
sucks?
Don't like her parents.
She's like, I had sex with her. She sucks. What do you mean she sucks? Oh, so
like,
she
he was like she was an annoying
hated
kid.
her.
I got
And then
so
she-
Hastings. I got so scared that the story was going to go. Oh, Liz, like, yeah, she's in year
My
3.
ex.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, he probably wasn't as severe. I remember he probably wasn't that negative about it, but I remember doing that. I also then remember him, and this like trash with him, where he'd have to do this, where he's like, oh, I can't let like he has to, well, I can't disapprove of who he dates because I'm a teacher. Like, he has to live his own life, make his own mistakes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So he then, like, he had that, and then he was like, no, I'm sure it's, cool, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So anyway, that was very embarrassing. I fumbled it on the phone call. I think I was like, it was too awkward with her dad or something, and then she just called, and we never even went on a date.
Oh
we
my
talked on the
God.
phone like once.
You talked on the
One of my
phone?
friends on the phone. It was like that kind of deal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Didn't think
The
about
same
it for years,
friends.
but like, you know, Northern Beaches is small. She went to the school down the road. We had friends in common. And also, yeah, she was a Catholic as well, so she went to the school down, like the other Catholic school that my stepdad, blah, blah, blah.
Now, I noticed you still have her phone number tattooed on your arm. No, I'm joking.
Well, it was the greatest day of my life. I got her phone number tattooed on me to honor my sister. I actually do have a 13 tattooed on me that I got on a Friday the 13th. That was my sister's birthday fell on a Friday the 13th again.
Okay.
And I did get a 13 tattoo as like, that's like a tattoo thing. I used to be into tattoos in my early 20s.
Yeah.
But
hang on. I
they're
want
forever. It's annoying.
I want to hear about
So
it.
I got a 13, and it was like to honor my sister, and she was like, "Is that because you kissed the girl on that day, though?" Like,
like, it's both, okay? It's both.
so I stayed in touch. So I kind of like vaguely knew Liz.
She was in the prism of your life in some way.
And
Sure.
so then, like, when I'm like, I would have been 19, 20. I'm at a party and she's there. And, you know, we've seen each other. And it's not like... And we've even gone, I think, like... I'd be like, haha, remember... Like, because I was her first kiss, too.
Aww.
We, like, joked. We had, like, little laughs and jokes about it. It was, like, fine. Met her boyfriend. Like, no, it wasn't weird. We were children. Like, it was genuinely fine.
Yeah.
And then one day I'm just at this party, though. And, like, it was the longest conversation we've had since we were 12. And she just... It was one of my first stand-up bits was about this, but... I was there just being like, oh, yeah, cool. This is a fun party. I'm drinking a VB, whatever. And she goes, yeah. You know what I reckon they should do with the refugees?
You said that?
The beaches, brother.
You said that or she said it?
She said that.
What?
And I've got quite, like, lefty parents. So I, like...
Sure, yeah.
I was always pretty, you know, whatever.
It adds up for Northern Beaches people, for sure. Yeah.
And she was just like, yeah, what I reckon... And I was like, oh what?
Boy.
And it was crazy. She was also an idiot, it turns out.
Oh.
She just described apartheid. Like, she invented apartheid from first principles. Like, she was like, I have an idea of what we should do with the refugees, and then described an apartheid. And I was like, have you heard of apartheid? You've just described apartheid. And she goes, nah, never heard that word.
And she goes,
and
so well, then it works.
You know, like South Africa in the 80s and stuff? And she's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, she was just like, well, just they'll live in their own townships. And like, she was just like, oh my God.
Wow.
Turns
So she
out
turned
your
out to be pretty
stepdad was
racist.
correct, saying that she
So
sucks
a
then.
bullet was dodged for her, not you. No, I'm
I
joking.
think it was, yeah.
yeah.
A lovely girl other than that.
Sure.
Like, you just have to be friends with
Otherwise-
racists if you're from the Northern Beaches. Like,
It's
fine.
such an interesting. We had Kirsten, and then the first actual official intimate moment was with apartheid supporting
Apartheid Liz.
apartheid Liz. Yeah, was that? Wow. When
And
go on.
then the big thing was I got a girlfriend when I was 15, and we were together till I was like 19. Like, we moved out of home together and stuff.
Oh
and,
my
like,
gosh.
that was like my first, you know,
Your
I had
high
like
school
a pretty
sweetheart.
serious relationship when I was like 15.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Heavy.
That's crazy, man. And then, so at what point? Because so the thing that we've always kind of known about you.
Yeah.
And I feel like even less so in your appearance. But when I met you, like early 20s, and you were black hair, like piercings on your face, you were like, you looked...
Stretched out ears.
Yes, 100%.
Shoulder-length black hair.
Shoulder-length black hair, you were 100% like emo goth kid sort of thing. When did that start for you? Was this pre-Liz? Was Liz the cause of it? When did that start? And what's that transition into? Because I'm hearing Captain of the Chess Club, that's not an emo kid. Where did it start?
Yeah. So, well, it's funny because you wouldn't necessarily...
So I tried to call Liz.
Well, you wouldn't necessarily guess the Liz thing from... But Liz was an emo too. When that did end up happening, that's kind of part of why we stayed in touch. She was friends with the emo kids at the girls' school. Like, it was, she was an emo. Like,
right.
I went to emo nights with her and stuff. So the emo thing actually happened pretty gradually. I went to like a Catholic school where they like they regulated your like appearance pretty seriously. So I couldn't have any piercings. I couldn't grow my hair. Definitely couldn't dye my hair. I could straighten my hair. They couldn't stop me doing that. So by a year, I'm cutting ahead, but by year 11, I was GHDing my hair before school every day.
Yeah. Okay.
It was still blonde. It was still blonde at that point.
Yeah.
But it was. I remember being. It didn't happen all at once. So I was also a big like music nerd, right?
Sure.
I was like a band kid, right?
Yeah.
So I played bass and guitar in the church band, and I played in like the school band. I was in some shitty punk bands later on and stuff. But I was like pretty into music when I was in school. So I liked all sorts of music, and like mostly, rock music. Like I like guitar music or whatever.
Sure.
Early on, it wasn't emo. Like emo. I'm really resisting going into too much about like the ins and outs of what the word emo means.
Sure. Let's keep it on you.
Just to quickly brush up, when we talk about emo in this context, just if there's any like real heads listening, we're talking about 2000s third wave emo, also called mall emo, not real emo. A lot of people would describe it as. We're talking My Chemical Romance, Avril Lavigne.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
We're not talking about fucking Rites of Spring.
Okay.
Everyone chill out, emos listening.
So
All right,
interesting.
we can talk about, if you want to talk about sunny day real estate, DM me, but now is not the time.
Love it. Okay.
I liked guitar music.
Yes.
But, I was into like my first musical love, and this is so embarrassing. My love of the Red Hot Chili Peppers was so deep and so true. I think I read Scar Tissue 9 times.
Wow.
I wanted to be Flea. Like, that's why I started playing bass.
Not Ketis.
Like, I played bass first. I just wanted to be Flea.
Not Ketis.
No, fuck Ketis.
Okay.
At this point, I was just Flea. I wanted to do slap bass. I wanted to fucking be like this really like virtuoso bass player. From there, I sort of got into like heavier stuff. So more like nu metal-y. So like System of a Down, Rage Against the Machine, Korn, Slipknot are still in like a top 10 band for me. I have such a real love for Slipknot. Like,
so let me cut in here for a second. So what I'm sort of gathering from this is the transition into, because and Maddie grew up in the middle of nowhere country, and there wasn't any emos at any of the schools you were at, right?
I mean, emo, there was a boy that was quite dark.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd call him an emo. I think he was just manically depressed.
But at my school, right? At my school, they're like those kids would all hang out together, and everybody associated with darkness, emotional. But when I'm talking to you, what it seems that your transition into was more just from your passion of music.
That's how it started. So, like, this is probably pretty reflective of, like, music at the time. Like, it was the first, like, music that heavy to get played on mainstream sort of radio. Like, your Korn and your Slipknot so much, they were a bit too heavy. But, like, your Korn, like, Limp Bizkit was on video hits.
Yeah.
Like, that was big, crunchy, tuned down, distorted guitars, even, like, a bit of yelling and screaming and stuff like that. That I just think like culturally softened the ground.
It was like the MTV era.
Explosion of emo.
You're like describing the MTV era sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. There was also like some pop punk from the late 90s as well. Pop punk absolutely informed all this. So there was like, and I was into Blink-182 and I was into Rage Against the Machine, as were most boys my age. So when 2004 hit, like 2004 is the big year that sort of third wave mall emo really fucking happened. We were already kind of ready for it. It wasn't like, what's this heavy? Whoa, there's a bit more whatever into it. They just focused way more on like the sadness of it, basically. So I was primed up, and I did like all sorts of different music. And I remember sitting at my friend's house. He was my best friend in like early high school. He was a richer kid, and he had like this amazing attic bedroom with like. He had all 3 major consoles. He had Foxtel in his room. He was like a blues kid, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
So MTV's playing on his TV, and a little track called Helena by My Chemical Romance comes on the thing, and it was like the brain exploding.
A defining moment for you.
Yeah, and so I went out and I bought all their albums. My Chemical Romance is still to this day my favorite band, but also like Blink-182 had already released their self-titled album, which was like. For me at the time, pretty emo. Like there was things softened the ground for it along the way. But it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I wasn't able to match the look, which was very frustrating for me.
Interesting.
I found the other emo kids and made friends with them and was talking to them about From First to Last and The Used and all that sort of stuff. But like, you know, I'd go and I remember like the first time I straightened my hair, like I had big curly hair.
Was there any pushback from the other kids if you were dressing and looking a bit different? Were you bullied at all?
Absolutely, but that's part of like the thing that made emo so similar logic to a cult. Where like it constructs like a narrative where it's like, oh no, like if you tell someone everyone's against you, then every step of, hey, what are you doing there, man? Maybe that's kind of whack. It's going to be met with, you just don't understand, man. You're not in the in group. You're not, like, it's a self-fulfilling thing, right? Oh. So it encourages you to isolate almost. Not isolate, but like,
right.
You know, the pushback you get is part of that.
Because it's kind of like they're a system that you're not part of.
Yeah, not even just like they're normal and they don't get, like, because emo's not like, that kind of emo is not particularly political. It's more just like, hey man, the normies, like, you know, they don't get what the darkness that's in my soul or whatever. So they don't get why I would want to wear my hair like this. They don't get like the culture, man. They're like, you know, so that once I was in, and about year 11, I started straightening my hair every day before school.
Yeah.
And I had a little fringe going. And then once school was done, I immediately went and got all these piercings and tattoos and started like dyeing my hair jet black. And so I had that all the way till I was nearly 30. I slowly took the piercings and stuff out because I was just feeling like I was getting old. By about the time I was like 28 or 27 even, I was like, I think I'm done with this. Like, I think I'm ready to go back to normal. But my now wife was like, you can't cut it off till after we're married because you've got to look emo in our wedding photos.
Oh, is your wife emo as well?
Yeah.
Okay, that explains.
She's got like bright pink hair. And, She's still got all the piercings.
Yeah, I've met Yvette. Yvette's lovely.
Cute.
She's learning to be a pro wrestler at the moment.
Wow.
Yeah, so
I've been
cool.
helping her out with some of the character stuff, and the character we landed on is it's such a great character idea. She's playing, like, her wrestling character is like a 2008 like MySpace scene queen. So like the big bows and the sidekick phones and the like gigantic, you know, teased out hair with the raccoon tail like dye job and stuff.
Yeah.
So she's doing all that stuff, which has been pretty fun.
Wow.
That's so good. Now
she's right into it.
Speaking of wrestling, let's talk about the thing that you've got coming up.
So I am running and hosting a storytelling night for professional wrestlers. So it's like half stand-up comedy, half like wrestling tell-all sort of thing. So wrestlers come in and they bring in like stories that they've prepared for like crazy things that have happened backstage, on the road, times things have gone wrong in ring. Like, it's all behind the scenes, you know, like real life stuff. Not
it's true story. It's true stories.
It's true like road stories from wrestlers and like backstage stories. It's called Backstage Segment. It's at the Lord Gladstone Hotel, July 3rd, in a few weeks' time.
Oh, so exciting.
You can just go to Backstage Segment on Instagram. You can get tickets there and all the details there. But yeah, the idea is it's like I'm getting wrestlers to tell their stories in like in a slightly more like structured format. We've done one show before. This will be our second show. Wrestlers are such good storytellers. Like, they really bring, and it's such a crazy world, and it's such like a bizarre sort of subculture and scene. So to get these guys talking about like the stuff that's happened is out of control. Like, I had a guy talking about like weird run-ins he had in with like John Cena and like, you know, training with like big American stars. And I'm a big wrestling nerd. That's like been a big thing throughout my whole life.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of like Australian wrestling and Sydney wrestling specifically. And it's one of those things where I know it sounds goofy, but like Australians are really, really good at wrestling. Like, we're way better at wrestling than we are at comedy. Like, they're sort of like, for like the real wrestling nerds, the best wrestling in the world generally happens in Japan. And because we're geographically so close to Japan, our best guys go over, train in Japan, bring that stuff back here, and like the guys as they come up, it's pretty common for them to go do some tours in Japan. It's really
I watched
popular.
WrestleMania last year and you were making fun of me.
Yeah. It is very
Well, it's whack
funny.
as hell, though.
Yeah, but you're super into it.
I loved it. Yeah. I like watching WrestleMania because it's a big event, and also all of my you know, a lot of my friends that I know are watching it. So I'm pretty sure like I was
you get very
messaging.
into the acting.
I'm
of
pretty
it.
sure I was messaging Hastings on the day while we were watching it, just being like, oh, you know, it's just a nice little way to connect. I like it for that.
I think I wish more people knew about wrestling is that it's a live medium. Like you're really, it's watching it on TV is great. And like I watch it on TV all the time, but really to get the most out of it. And I think what I've seen happen a lot of times is going to see wrestling live. That's when it clicks for people. That's when it starts to make sense. Think of it as performance art. Don't think of it as support. Don't think of it as sport. Don't think of it as MMA. It's theater. Think of it as theater or some sort of like masculine violent dance. What's unique about wrestling is if you're at a wrestling show, you, the audience, pretend it's real. You know it's fake, just as the performers do. But you have an obligation to play the role of an audience.
You got to get into
for a
it,
real sporting event. In the same way that the wrestlers play the role. So you're not just watching, you're not just a spectator. There is no fourth wall. It's not like a breaking of the fourth wall like there might be in theater or in stand-up comedy constantly. There is no fourth wall. You're in the play. You're part of it.
And it's also on that point, something I found really interesting about it is that they have changed storylines based on the audience's reactions.
Constantly,
So,
right.
so if the audience is like, they're like, okay, we're going to write this guy as the hero. And then the audience like, no, this guy sucks. They're like, right, okay, well, he's not the hero.
Yeah, right.
It happens all the time. And also like how the audience reacts to someone on the come up. If someone, you know, is like lower card, mid card in a smaller match, in a less important match or whatever, but they come out and the crowd are losing their minds and they're buying the t-shirts and they're watching the clips on YouTube, they're going to go, fuck, the guy's like this guy. Let's put him in the wrestlers are constantly improvising in the ring. They're feeding off like what the crowd are giving them. You don't get that experience watching on TV, but seeing it live, you're like, oh, I get it. I'm in it. It's me. I'm the show.
You're part of it,
Well,
like
that's
a
sick.
pantomime.
Well,
Everybody go and watch Hastings' show.
yes,
That
absolutely.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Go see backstage segment. I thought so. I just wanted to make sure I got it right.
It is
Backstage
Well, that
segment.
sounds awesome. Yeah.
July 3rd,
July
Lord
3rd.
Gladstone Hotel in Chippendale. Go to backstage segment on Instagram for tickets and details.
Yeah, well,
Awesome.
I'm sold.
Dude, thanks so much for coming on. This has
Thank
been
you,
so much fun.
Andrew.
I'm so
Thanks
glad
for
that I
having me
had.
on, gang.
All right, dude. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming on. And
Good night, kids.
Good night, kids.
Thanks, gang.